Hi, hello, and all that good stuff. My name is Allie. I am the Chaotic Reader, and this is where I talk about book things. And this is my kitty cat, Reese. I think he's displeased at the moment. Meow. What do you want? You want to leave? You can leave. Ow! Leave more carefully, please. Today I am bringing you my February TBR, or the rest of my February TBR anyway. My Polarthon TBR will already be up by the time you're seeing this. If you want to check that out, I will link it down below. That will have the books I will be reading for the first week of February when Polarthon takes place. A couple of these books are books from that TBR, since the book web vaLITines readathon that I'm participating in takes place the whole month of February. I am once again being kind of overly ambitious with my monthly TBR, and may or may not even get to all the books on it. Especially, this is a bad idea since I failed my own readathon. Okay, I guess it's January 25th today when I'm filming this, so there's still some time for me to read, but I'm not going to finish a whole bunch of books in that time. So, I failed January. In my defense, I did spend the majority of the month working on home projects, which was kind of a last minute plan, but I realized I really wanted to get that stuff done before I get even more pregnant and it becomes even more difficult to rearrange and reorganize an entire house. And it's done now. So I feel pretty good about that, actually. So hopefully February will be a better month for reading. I will link all of the information, as always, down below for anything I mention, specifically the book web vaLITines readathon. I will link the Twitter down below. You can check it out if you want. There are a few events that the sign-up date is passed for, but the readathon as a whole, you can still participate on, and there's still a bunch of different challenges and activities and reading prompts that you could join in with. I think it's going to be a really good time, and I'm very, very excited to get into this. So there is a bingo board, which I will put right here with all of the prompts, and I doubled up on everything and just tried to fill the whole board. Not all of these are reading prompts, some of them are little challenges, so I'm not going to really get into those, just the reading prompts. But most of the books I'm reading will cover more than one prompt, and you know what, let's just get into it, shall we? First up, we have The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. This was gifted to me recently, and I'm so excited to get to it. I've been wanting to get into this trilogy for a while. The last book came out pretty recently last year, so it is a completed trilogy, and maybe I'll read the whole trilogy this year. Don't hold your breath though, we all know how I am with series. Either way, I'm really excited to get into this one. I don't actually know that much about it because I never know much about anything I read, it seems like. But this covers 2 prompts, Quality Time, which is a book that you think will take you a while, and this book is 500 and some pages, and I think it's a pretty dense fantasy, so it probably will take me a while. And it also fulfills gifts, which is to read a book that was gifted to you, and that's part of the reason I'm really excited to get to it. I love getting to books that were gifted to me because they feel more special. They just feel so good. Giving the synopsis of this one a quick read, I'm realizing I really don't know anything about it. Something about a con artist and a djinn and a city, which I gather from the title is probably a pretty good focus of the book, is the city. Either way, I'm excited, and I love this cover. This cover was what drew me to it in the first place, so excited to get to this one. Then we have Girls Made of Snow and Glass, which is a book that is on my Polarthon TBR as well, so I won't talk about it much here. This one fulfills the prompt of Skip a Beat, a book you know very little about. I didn't know really anything about this, and I still really don't, so this fits that prompt. The next book fulfills one single prompt, and that is Words of Affirmation, a book that is blurbed by an author you love. I decided to go with A Game for All the Family by Sophie Hannah. Now, it took me a while to find a book on my shelves blurbed by an author I love. I guess I don't really look at blurbs generally, so I just kind of had to try to dig around and find something. This is a random thriller I bought at one point, and it's blurbed by Liane Moriarty, who I actually really like all of her books. So excited to give this a read. Don't know what it's about, not even sure where I got it, but it's on my TBR now. And I just wanted to have a thriller on my TBR because I do like to mix up the genres I read, and so I thought it'd be good to just throw one of the thrillers I own on there. Next up, I have Green Glass House by Kate Milford, which I also talked about in my Readathon TBR, so I won't talk about it much here, but it fulfills the prompts of... Hold on, I have to look at my list for this one. Love Shack, which is upbuilding on the cover. Opposites Attract, a genre or format you do not usually read. This is got mystery in it, and I don't usually read mysteries. Thrillers, yes. Ones that lean more towards mystery, not usually. And Sharing is Caring, which is based on a prompt for another readathon, which this fits one of the Polathon prompts. So there we go. The next book I plan on reading is Binti by Nyedi Okorafor. I hope I pronounced that correctly. If I did not, I apologize. This is a rather short book. I think it's only about 100 pages, and it is a African-inspired sci-fi from what I've gathered about it. I've been wanting to read it for a while. I've had it on my Kindle for a while, and I figured it would be good to pop into this readathon since it is so short, and I've been wanting to get around to it. This fulfills 2 prompts, which are Black Future Month, which is to read an Afrofuturism, which this definitely is. Then we also have Long Distance, which is to read a book that takes place in a different country or draws from another culture. I know this draws from another culture, and that's one of the reasons I'm very interested in reading it, because I haven't really read very many diverse sci-fis. I haven't read that many sci-fis in general, but I'm really excited to read a diverse sci-fi. There is the prompt of Love Language, which is to read a translated work. I only own 2 translated works right now that I'm aware of, and that is Penance by Minai Konato or The Beast Player by Nahoko something. I'm sorry, I don't have the book in front of me. It's on my Kindle, so I don't remember the name exactly. But either one of those I would be interested in picking up if I have time. Considering that I'm putting quite a few books on my TBR this month, and there are some other things I have planned book-wise, I don't know for sure if I will get to those because they do only fulfill 1 prompt, but I am excited for both of them. One of them is like a fantasy with Studio Ghibli vibes, I've heard, and the other one is a horror. So 2 very different books. So kind of depends on my mood which one of those I will try to pick up. The next book, which is a priority for me to get to, is P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han. This is the 3rd in the To All the Boys I've Loved Before trilogy, and I've had this on my TBR forever and just have not read it. I read the first 2, I think one right after the other, and then for some reason never got to this one. I think my mood for romances just wasn't there at the time. But the movie comes out for this one in February. February is also Valentine's Day, so I figured it's the perfect time to finally finish this trilogy. I've thought about rereading the first 2, but I just don't know if I'm gonna have time to do that, or if I'm going to want to put in the time to do that. So I probably will just read this last one. I don't really feel like I need to reread the first 2 to enjoy this one anyway. This is a very popular YA romance trilogy that follows Laura Jean, and she writes these letters when she gets crushes and is just so full of emotion and then doesn't send them, but they get sent out to all the boys she's had crushes on, and the story just kind of goes from there. There's a fake dating element to it, and it's really enjoyable. I really like it. It's cute, light, fluffy, just gives you some good vibes when you need them. So I do think this will be an enjoyable read for this month. And this one actually fulfills 4 prompts, which are My Sunshine, lighthearted. Touch, a book that has an interesting texture or that will be touching. I think this will be touching. It just kind of feels like a regular book, but it's a romance. It's cute. I think it will be touching. And then Love Song reminds you of a favorite song. I didn't have a very easy time with that, but I like a lot of romantic songs, and I kind of am in a mood for like more upbeat songs, so I figured it kind of gives me the vibes of the music I've been listening to lately. I had a hard time with this one, so I figured it would fit. And then Commitment Issues, which is to continue or start a series. Commitment Issues fits me perfectly because I never finish series, and this would be completing a series, which is one of my priorities this year, is to continue a series. The next book I'd like to get to is Cersei by Madeline Miller. This is another one that's been on my TBR for quite a while, and I am just feeling the mythology vibes right now. I want to pick up a book with mythology in it, and this is Greek mythology, which I adore, so I'm finally going to get around to this one. This is obviously a retelling of the myth of Cersei, which I think is going to be very interesting. I've basically only heard good things about this and Madeline Miller's other book, so I think it'll be fun to get to. And this one also fills 4 prompts, so I'm gonna have to read off my list again here. That is Goo Goo Eyes, a beautiful cover or eyes on the cover, both of which this is. Head Over Heels, author's first name is longer than their last name. Madeline is longer than Miller. Long-term relationship, been on your TBR for a long time. This definitely has. And then Acts of Service involves a quest. It's Greek mythology, of course it involves a quest. Another book I hope to get to this month is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I have this absolutely stunning collector's edition that I got for really cheap, actually. And I actually don't even like want to read the actual collector's edition because I don't want to ruin it. So I might order a paperback. I have actually not read this series before, even though I absolutely adore Sarah J. Maas. I've been hesitant to get into this just because I can't imagine loving it as much as I love ACOTAR, and so that's kind of made me be like, I don't know if I should pick it up. What if I end up just being disappointed? But it's finally time to pick this up since the Throne of Glass read-along is going on right now. I will link that down below. I'm gonna pick it up, I'm gonna read it, and I better love it. This fulfills the prompt of dream come true, which reminds you of a dream you've had. I've had a lot of dreams. Honestly, almost any book could in some way remind me of a dream I've had because I have some wild dreams. But I've had dreams where I've been an assassin before, so I figured that this definitely fits that then. And finally, one last book that I want to read this month is Skullduggery Pleasant by Derek Landy. I'm still waiting for my copy to arrive from the wonderful Waypoint Books, which Hannah owns. Her channel is Ladette M. I will link her channel and the Twitter for Waypoint Books down below because she and the store are amazing. But she is hosting a Skullduggery Pleasant read-along, and I actually didn't really know anything about these books, but because Hannah was hosting it, I was interested, and I looked into the books, and it's a middle grade series that sounds interesting, and I want to read it. And so here we are, reading the first book this month, and I hope it arrives in time. Sometimes it can be hard to get things from the UK to the US in a timely manner, especially with the whole panoramic that's going on right now. So, you know, I understand if it doesn't get here in time. It should be a quick read whenever it does get here, and I did order more than one at a time so that I will have the other ones in time for the read-along, even if the first one for some reason doesn't get here in time. Well, that is it. That is all the books I plan on reading this month. Or is it? Maybe there's a thing I'm doing if stuff arrives in time. You know, a thing, a secret thing. But I can't tell you about it because it's a secret. So, it's probably not as exciting as I'm making it out to be, but I'm excited for it. And so that will be a video that will come out whenever all of the books that I am reading for that get to me. There's also going to be Bookstagram and TikTok and BookTube challenges for this readathon. I will probably do some of the BookTube ones, so keep an eye out for those as well throughout the month. I may or may not do some of the Bookstagram ones. I keep saying I want to get more into Bookstagram, but then I don't because I'm terrible at taking pictures and I never like the pictures they take for it, and I never want to sit down to take the pictures for it. So we'll see if I do any of the Bookstagram challenges or not. As always, remember to like and subscribe if you like the energy that I bring, and comment down below what you are reading this month, what readathons you're participating in, all that good stuff. Comment anything, really. I just like to hear from your beautiful faces, and I will see you guys next time.